Happy Stoney Sunday. I have a very special guest here. I have Damon Adams, an Australian, a former police officer, and a longtime Twitter friend.
G'day guys.
I'm so excited that you're here on the show. I had the chance to hear your speech yesterday and really hear the whole story. I recorded that, so that is also going to be on YouTube, but I really wanted to sit down with you and just ask you a couple of questions about how you went from police officer arresting drug users of all levels to now a cannabis advocate, and you're speaking about legalization, you get to give a testimonial. It's amazing. So hi.
Yep. Hi Carl. Thanks for having me, and great to see you guys. First Stoney Sunday, so happy to be here.
Yay!
I guess I went from being a cop to being a cannabis consumer through pain is the best way I can do it. When I was at the police academy, I got a pretty bad knee injury. I don't have any cool stories about chasing anyone or anything. I had surgery, and then I've got a bone-on-bone injury now that needs pain management. I got put on OxyContin for pain management, which was not good for my life.
Was that like a quick thing, like you're in pain and they just recommend OxyContin for you?
Yeah, and it was the only legal option, the strongest dose you can get, sort of thing. And then I became an addict, pretty much, on pharmaceutical pills. And it was a choice of keep taking the pharmaceutical pills or live a life of pain, and there had to be another option. So
Yeah.
I had a friend with multiple sclerosis at the time who told me she used it for her tremors and said, how about you try it for pain? And I think I did a bit of a guffaw and whatever sort of thing. And then she sat me down and told me to shut up and told me a lot of stuff about cannabis I never knew about. And that sort of started my advocacy. I went out, and I was at the point in my life where I had to find something other than the opiates. Opiates weren't working. So, like everyone else had done with cannabis, made a small bong like the thousands I'd taken from the teenagers before as a cop.
A Billy.
Yeah, made a billy, and then smoked my first bong, and the first lungful of cannabis smoke in my lungs was the start of the rest of my life, pretty much. I didn't have to be subjected to the pain or the secondary medications anymore. I didn't have to go through withdrawals. There weren't any negative side effects. It was a win-win across the board. So
When you were trying it with your homemade bong, were you by yourself in that moment?
yeah, I was by myself. I told my wife that I was going to do it, and she's like, how's this going to go? It's a drug. It's an illegal drug, and I know. But it's just I couldn't be a dad anymore. I couldn't be a husband anymore. I couldn't play with my kids anymore. It was just opiates were controlling my life, and I wanted my life back. And cannabis helped me regain that control. I felt like for the first time in my life that I could do something to my body that helped me, instead of relying on someone to go to a shop and then give them money and then take the pills, and then I have to get another set of pills because I got itchy from those pills. And
Oh yeah, all the secondary medications, just treating symptoms that you got from the other medication, which is only treating a symptom that could be treated by cannabis.
Yeah. And now with cannabis, it's all I use. I don't have any secondary medications. The OxyContin's been sitting on top of the fridge for 6 months collecting dust. There's nothing. I have to travel with painkillers just in case I can't get cannabis. But I'm shouting from the rooftops. Cannabis helps me. We've all got an endocannabinoid system. It's crazy that this whole rigmarole is still going, and people are still perpetuating the ignorance. So that's why I do what I do now, and tell people that don't like being told about it that cannabis can help them and their family members and their friends and that sort of stuff. So
Talking about it, I think, is the biggest difference that you can make.
education, we need to do it.
Yeah, when it comes to the endocannabinoid system, it makes me really, really happy to hear people talking about that here, because even in the United States, we may have reached a point of understanding with it and then completely forgotten about it.
Yeah.
And now we're just going on to CBD-only meds or specific strains for specific ailments, rather than looking at the whole plant and the full range of cannabinoids and the entourage effect, as they're calling it, where you need all of these different components to really create a healing whole medicine, and we're trying to narrow it down and pick apart this versus that. And I loved what you were saying about not creating a secondary prohibition against some cannabinoids and elevating others to be the only medicinal ones, when that's not true with the whole plant and the way it interacts with your body. I think it's so great people are talking about that.
Yeah, for sure. The synergistic effect of cannabis is amazing, and it's well researched, it's well written about, everyone knows about it. But like you said, with the secondary prohibition that's starting to begin of THC and CBD, I think it's just the THC gives pleasure. It's a pleasurable experience. If I have OxyContin, I know I'm high, like I'm high on opiates, and I can feel that in my system. if I have cannabis and I have the THC in my system, I know that THC is going to give me a psychoactive effect, but it's a positive euphoric effect. It's not going to be an effect where I'm sitting there going, oh, I don't like this. I've been on benzos, I've had antidepressants, that sort of stuff, and they all give you a non-euphoric effect. But with cannabis, it's not for everyone. Some people won't like the euphoric effect, or specifically elderly people that might not be used to it and that sort of stuff. But everything is a drug dependent on dose, so we need to really sort of start remembering, like you said, with the entourage effect, the synergistic effect. We can use the CBD for certain things for kids with epilepsy and THC, but together it's so much more powerful than one thing. And being able to profile those certain strains for people as individual things as well is something we need to start researching more in the future for sure.
Absolutely. When you mention like your specific dose or for your ailment, what you need, are you able to monitor that here in Australia? Are you able to maintain a specific dose or a specific amount that you're smoking every day? How do you do that here in a illegal country?
It's hard. Obviously with pharmaceutical pills, I can take a pill, that's one dose, my dose is fine. I can go to the chemist next day and buy a $6 packet and ready to go. But with the black market, I'm subjected to the black market here, so quality control is a big issue. If I don't have a steady supply or a regular strain that I'm used to, it's whatever I get in the bag. So one day it could be some really awesome stuff covered in trichomes and a really good strain that I know is going to be good from pain, like a good indica. The next week it might be a bag of sticks and stems and seeds and no idea what strain it is, and it's all brown crap, and I'm off on the OxyContin again, sort of thing.
And you have to pay for it either way at that point. You purchased it.
Yeah, so I can pay $6 for a packet of OxyContin that lasts me a month if I took a pill every day, or $200 to $300 an ounce, sort of thing. That like I said, is just subjected to the whim of the black market. So some days you win, most days you don't.
So that's why you're working towards regulation and legalization, so people really can find what they need easily.
Yes, I want full access.
Me too.
Yes.
But what are some of the things that you get to do? Like, what are you doing now to advocate? I think a lot of people know, talk to your friends and family, talk to your loved ones, but what else are you doing? You have opportunities to do exciting things that I've heard about.
Yeah. So I get to brief a lot of parliamentarians at a Parliament House and that sort of stuff. Where I come from in South Australia, Adelaide, just this Friday, they had a roundtable parliamentary talk with bipartisan and crossbench support from all sides towards medical cannabis. So this thing is moving, but it's an education process. We've got a lot of new politicians that are coming in that don't really know about cannabis, and they're sort of trying to stake their ground and become popular with the voting crowd. And for some of them, it's being able to be a good thing for them, because it's such a juggernaut system now that's happening. The green rush is happening all over the world. It's unstoppable, and it's a get on board or get off sort of thing with politicians at the moment. 2016 next year, it's going to be a big thing in the US for federal.
Trying,
And hopefully this year we're going to be able to get some legislation down in Australia for medical cannabis, and then next year maybe piggyback off you guys and start working towards a recreational market as well.
I would be very jealous if Australia had recreational before California. I have to say, I would be very proud but a little jealous at the same time. California needs to get its act together. So Californians, if you're watching, get registered to vote, get involved. Reformca.com is what I've been pushing lately, because they're trying to get money raised so that we can actually hire the right people to write our initiatives. Because in the past we've gone through a lot of grassroots initiatives and they're not worded in successful ways. The general population's not liking it when they get it in front of them, so we really need to get the money together, hire the professionals, and get the qualified people to help us get there finally.
Yeah, California, come on man, it's 20 years almost next year since you got it going, so
all you people that were born in 1996 and earlier, you've only experienced medical marijuana, so get off your butts and help something new come into the state, please.
For sure.
Oh my gosh, so it's your experience as a police officer that's definitely helped you, I think, get to the point where you can testify in front of Parliament and give that sort of feedback to them. Has there been a lot of negative feedback from coworkers and
for sure.
bosses,
it's unfortunate, I guess. I lost a lot of friends when I came out as a cannabis advocate.
Those aren't friends.
I was in the Navy for 11 years before the police as well. Afghanistan vet, and I've got a lot of friends with PTSD as well, from military and police, from both sides of the fence. So trying to educate them about, hey guys, there's other options out there besides pharmaceuticals and that sort of stuff to be able to control your PTSD and work through your depression and that sort of stuff. It's crazy how it's not happening, but it is, and it's slowly happening. With the military side of it, all the the police side of it as well. It's the negative experiences is mainly being knocked down or trying to just not being given the opportunity to talk about it. So just you can't even mention marijuana or cannabis in a sentence sometimes here. People go, shh, that's illegal, you can't talk about it. It's like, it's just a word, it's just knowledge, we're talking about a plant, it's okay to do this. So when I talk to parliamentarians and politicians and that sort of stuff, you can see that stigma is still there, and they're not receptive to be fully open in conversation about it. They're a little bit guarded still, and still trying to work out, like, is the demonisation of this drug gonna affect my employment in the future and that sort of stuff as well. So I mean, I can see where they come from. They got to protect themselves and still look after themselves, but it's not about them. It's about the people that vote for them and about the things that they want to see and do. So.
And the truth of the plant, like, it's just
the
so
truth.
absurd that we have laws that are to protect us, but when we actually look at the truth of the plant, they're just not accurate laws. The laws don't make sense, and I think anyone that wants the best for the people, that wants a healthy population, healthy citizens, when they really start to learn about cannabis, it becomes a no-brainer to them. It becomes very obvious. So there's that wall built up that they don't want to learn anymore because they're very comfortable where they are, and I feel like people know. They know that once you start looking, you're going to be one of those people that's, I changed my mind and now I want to tell you I love cannabis too.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
great thing about being an advocate is I don't have to lie ever. I can
Dude,
rely
thank you for
on
saying that.
I can rely on facts. I can rely on peer-reviewed, evidence-based science, and it's good. I don't have to worry about trying to influence people or trying to work in different angles or anything. It's here's the research, and if you don't like it, then now you're ignorant. So once you've read that information and you choose not to do anything about it, then that's worse than not wanting to do anything about it at all.
Absolutely.
So the information's there. It's coming out in leaps and bounds now. It's unstoppable, and it's going to be a time where the politicians in 20 years' time, we're going to be looking back and be like, why was cannabis illegal, sort of thing.
I can't wait for that. I can't wait for it to seem ridiculous, the amount of effort that we had to put in, the links that we went through, the volume that we had to reach to get the conversation started for cannabis. I hope that that's ridiculous in 20 years. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
You had to get tattoos? Like, you had to actually put it on everything you know and own just to get people to talk about it? Because it's going to be legal and people are going to just feel comfortable with it, and I'm excited for that future.
Yeah, and not just that, they're going to look at politicians and how they treated people that consume cannabis. The thousands and millions of people that get incarcerated for drug laws and that sort of stuff across the globe, it's stupid. It's so damaging to our society, to future generations, and to everything. I lost my job at a school where I was working because I came out on TV a week before about being a cannabis user and cannabis advocate. And I got a letter from the school the week later saying, because you came out as a cannabis user and you've been using an illegal drug, we're going to sack you to protect the reputation of the school. That's heartbreaking for me, but I'm not the only one. I can go to work with a pocket full of benzos and opiates, and that's fine, but I can't go to work with any cannabinoids in the system at all.
Or even be known for just being
or
progressive and for
even
cannabis.
Talking about
that
it.
reputation is just too frightening for the children. They think it's too scary, but I think the youngest generation is going to make a huge difference, I think, in the next coming years. And I think a big part of it is the communication that we have. People that are connected. Yes, there are people older than you and I that are also connected online, but I think social media and people under 40 that have gone on Facebook, they've gotten on Twitter, Instagram, everything, and they've started telling everyone they know about their cannabis experiences in their town. I think that's changed so much. So I wanted to ask you, how has social media, done anything for you, changed anything for you? Does it have any part in your activism?
Yes. A lot of you might not know, but Coral was one of the activists that I first latched onto when I came out as an advocate.
I'm really excited to even hear that, because I'm in awe of what you do, and I couldn't do the things that you're doing. So to have any small part of it.
Social media has definitely been a massive help in getting myself, definitely in Australia, getting up and being able to become a known advocate, I guess. But I've been following in your footsteps, stalking you for a while and that sort of stuff. But just
and now
seeing
here
how
you are on Stoney Sunday.
So just seeing how it's worked over there, and just the massive influx of support you guys have over there from social media, and it's fantastic. You can't stop social media. People like arguing against it and that sort of stuff, but even politicians, they think it's this kids thing that no one talks about. But I mean, you can get a petition with 1 million signatures on it in a couple of days from social media, and it's fantastic. And what it also allows me to do is being able to connect with everybody else in the world in the same sort of thing as well. So advocates in this country, in California, and that sort of stuff as well. So we're all on the same page, we're all working towards the same goal, and we can all keep that connectivity going to maintain that focus on ending prohibition and legalizing cannabis.
We need it. We can't get complacent in California, Colorado, Washington, Oregon, the places where we do have so much access. We see complacency and laziness, and people aren't fighting to help everyone else in other states, let alone other countries. And I think people that are more connected are really having a wider view of what's going on. And you can't feel good reveling in what you have and smoking all the weed you have, going to places, joints being thrown out, when you know that if you were born in another country or born in another state, you wouldn't have that experience.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think getting the visual representations of that out on social media, it's had such a huge change on so many different civil movements right now, and civil rights movements across the Middle East and Egypt, and then we see it in different riots in different parts of America, where if it wasn't for social media, those stories, they're not allowed on the mainstream news. They're not going to be talked about. So we have to be the ones to talk about it.
We do. We got to be the voices. We got to be the ones that stand up so other people can see, hey, I support this as well. And you know, maybe they might be in that spot like police officers where they're sort of thinking, you know, I support medical cannabis. They might have a family member with epilepsy or something that's being treated. So it is an education thing. So the more people that shout it from the rooftops, the more people that stand up and just speak the truth. You don't have to try to say anything crazy. You don't have to try to lie or persuade anyone. Just be yourself, take that deep breath and say the truth. Even if your voice shakes, even if your knees shiver, do it.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for being on Stoney Sunday. This has been a dream come true for me. So thank you.
Anytime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Happy Stony Sunday.
You too.
Thank you guys for watching.
Nice meeting you guys. See you next time.
Episode 234, by the way. It's exciting. Woo! See you guys later.
See ya.
And until I publicly announced my cannabis use on national television last year, whilst as a panellist for an SBS Insight special on cannabis, I was also employed at a primary school OSH as a caregiver before being sacked.